Hello and welcome to How To For You. Today we're going to be learning how to change the transfer case fluid and the rear differential fluid on a 2017 Toyota Rav4. This is a 4th generation. So today I'm just going to start off by showing you how to do this. So the first thing we want to do is we want to jack up the car. I'm going to jack up the car on each side here, and then I'm going to lift it, put some jack stands under, and then we're going to work on the rear differential first. Alright, so to show you what we're going to start with. First, we need to assess the rear differential. Now when you crawl under the car, here's where it is, here's what it looks like. And you always, with the rule of thumb, want to loosen the fill plug first. Then, on the opposite side here, it is a little bit lower, but you have the drain plug. So what you want to do is loosen the fill plug first, make sure you can get it off. There's going to be a little fluid that leaks out, and then you want to undo the drain plug. The fill plug is going to be really hard, but we're going to give it a go and I'm going to show you what to do. Alright, so always wear gloves. I've got my breaker bar in here. It's a 10mm hex. This is on the passenger side. And hey, it wasn't as hard as I thought. So, this is on the passenger side. Usually in rusty areas, it can be really difficult, but I'm going to go ahead and loosen that up. I don't see too much liquid pouring out. This is just a drain and fill. So, again, this is the fill plug. I'm just going to go ahead and take this and hold on to it. We are going to change out the washer, and then I'm going to show you how to do the drain plug here. Alrighty. So now, we are doing the drain plug. So same thing. Make sure that thing's seated in there really well. There is going to be fluid coming out, so wear gloves. There we go. There it goes. So basically you want to just let this drain all the way out. You're going to put your drain plug back in, and then you're going to pump in the new fluid until it pours out. Pretty simple. Also just want to show you here, while that's still draining, so there's going to be a little bit of crud. I already wiped it off, and this stuff does really smell, so be careful. This is black metal shavings that are coming off from that differential. So you just want to wipe it down like this, and again, take off the old gasket. But yeah, you're just gonna clean that off, and then you can reuse it again. But that's just normal, that's always there. So let this empty out all the way, and then we'll tighten it back up, and then we will fill it. Alright, so that's all emptied out. I put my new gasket on there, just wiping it down here. And now, important thing here, when we put this back on, we do want to torque it to about 28-29 foot-pound-feet of torque. So let me just move that there. So, don't really want to go more than that. I'm amazed that this came off so easily. If you live in a rusty area, it's going to be much more difficult. But now for the fill part. I am using this Valvoline full synthetic 75W90. Now, the owner's manual does ask for a 75W85. Or equivalent. This is perfectly fine. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to do about half a quart roughly until it drips out, and this is accessing through the fill hole. So I'm going to cut it out. There's going to be a pump that we're going to need to use, and we're going to just fill it up until it drips out here. You do want to get your pan again. You want to find that fill hole. It's going to be a little tricky, but sorry for the coverage getting off there. We're going to put this in that hole. And we're just gonna fill it till it overfills. And that's it. Again, this is about half a quart. Alright, so now it's dripping out. And there's a nice steady flow. How it's dripping right there. So that's how you know that it's to the max. And that's what you want. So I'm just going to let this empty out here. And that should be good for the rear differential. Don't forget to tighten it to torque specs, 28, 29 foot-pound-feet of torque. Again, just take this fill plug here for the time being. You'll want to just, it's kind of tough to get in there, but there we go. Just takes a little bit of maneuvering. It can be a little bit tricky. I would actually start on the rear differential and then do the transfer case on the front. So that is that. And tighten the torque specs. So that's torqued now. Let's do the front. All right, and now for the transfer case on the front. So let me crawl under here and show you. We have the fill plug there and the drain plug there. So again, loosen the fill plug first, then drain it out. So I just wanted to make a quick update before I show you how to take off the bolts for the transfer case. And again, in advance, I do apologize about the camera work. My camera slipped and I wasn't able to get the right shot in a full frame. However, I do want to make an important note here. When you're taking off the bolt for the fill plug, especially on the transfer case, I don't recommend using a breaker bar, and I'm trying to show you in advance right now. I would get some sort of wrench that is thin on the backside like this. Otherwise, it won't be able to fit properly into the fill plug because the space is literally about as wide, almost a little bit wider than this entire width right here. So make sure you don't just have a breaker bar, you have at least another wrench that has a shorter base, because otherwise it won't fit in there and then you can't do the job. Fill plug, drain plug. Loosen that first and get this off. This should be a lot easier. So we're going to start here again. So, just takes the right tool. It's tight space up in here. You're gonna have to get a few wrenches. Sometimes the small ones work best for the transfer case. The rear differential works best for the breaker bar. But I'm gonna go ahead and loosen the fill plug now. I'm gonna have to get the breaker bar out. Do that one. Alrighty, so and here it comes. As you can see, there's a lot of crud in here. That stuff's pretty dark, it's pretty black. Wipe off remaining excess fluid. I want this to 28 foot-pound-feet of torque. There it is. Okay. There you go. And now we're going to take off the fill plug and just fill it up. I'm using the remainder of the last one that I had. And I'm just gonna go until it overflows. that is the end of that bag. I can do a little bit more in the other one, but it looks like it's coming out. Let me try one more, just to make sure I'm safe. I'm gonna keep going until I see it go and overflow here. And I do see that it's got a good, nice flow now, so I just want to make sure until it's full, I'll let a little bit of that drain. You're going to want at least one, probably two of these guys. And there it is. It's all the way full. Nice clean oil. Use a rag to get over whatever remainder amount is left. And we're just going to put this guy back on. I would normally torque this, but I can't get my torque wrench in there. So you're just going to have to go by feel. But I would say get this nice and snug. Don't overdo it. But you know, get it relatively firm in there. And I think that's good. That should be it. Couple things I want to note here. When you're doing this, always make sure you are on a flat level surface. Use the proper safety equipment, goggles, jack stands. I did not end up using it, but I did get a breaker bar for this. I was told that sometimes in the Rust Belt areas, those things can be stinkers to get off. So it doesn't hurt to get one just in case. Mine came off pretty easily. You do want to do these between roughly every 30 to 60,000 miles. Now, that's dependent on a few things. I basically never used mine too rough. I never went off-roading. I never towed anything. Mine has about 70,000 miles. I'm kind of a bad Rav4 dad, but I made up for it doing it today. And I would recommend, yeah, if you're doing a lot of towing, off-roading, do it every 30,000 miles. If you're not stressing the all-wheel drive, you could do it every 60,000 miles. But I'm gonna do mine probably again between 30 to 60,000 miles, so depends on how heavy you use it. Thanks a lot again for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe. Also, just wanted to share you a little quick pro tip in case you have a car like mine. I think these are unlimited and up, but you can go to maintenance, personal, and then you can just do transfer case and rear diff fluid, and then you can do, so I'll probably want to change mine maybe in another 30,000 because it's got 70,000, so boom, now it'll remind me. There you go.